Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today we're going to do something a little different. We are going to take a look at the entire Avengers Infinity War Wave 2 of the Marvel Legends line. So this is the second wave of Infinity War figures, giving us a Build-A-Figure for Cull Obsidian. We've got, looks like several different unique figures in this wave, so let's go ahead and dive right in. We are going to just open these figures right up out of their packages, and we're going to take a look at them one by one. Let's go ahead and start things off right here with Malekith. So this is one of the comic-based figures in the wave. If you aren't familiar already, Hasbro always does a pretty good job of mixing together MCU characters with comic-based characters. So we've got this great character right here. Now this figure was offered last year as part of their Thor San Diego Comic-Con exclusive box set, but this one here does feature a different paint deco. So if you did not already pick up that figure with that box set last year, this is a great chance to pick up this character if you didn't already have him. This time around, his outfit is a two-tone bright red and dark red. I believe the one that came with the San Diego exclusive set had a more black and red tone on his outfit there. It's a beautiful sculpt. I love the face there, the half black, half blue face, the pointed ears. You can see there's some really nice kind of dry brushing going on in the hair that gives it like some great tones. It just looks fantastic. One of the things I definitely want to point out is he does have a loose torso. You can really see the way he's kind of wobbling around here, so that is a bit unfortunate. Otherwise, articulation, let's go and run down that real quick there. He does rotate on the ball joint at the head, and you can see there's a hinge at the neck as well. So he's got a good range of motion. He can move his head downwards. He doesn't go upwards too far because of the hair sculpt, so that's going to get in the way just a bit. It's worth noting, though, these shoulder pads, they're a separate piece. They're connected to this collar, so it's kind of floating around his neck there. But that's nice, because he does have just the standard like ball joints there at the shoulders, so that way these won't get in the way. They do pop up a little bit and look a little funny if you move the arms upwards. But otherwise, it's really nice and tight articulation there as well. Swivels at the bicep, great double joints at the elbow, got that ratchet click going on there. You can swivel at the wrist as well as got the hinge joint at the wrist, so it's really nice. You can hear it does have the ratchet clicking in the torso, and in some poses he's fine, but in like the neutral pose, that's where we've got the wobble going on. He does have nice tight articulation at the waist. You can see it was kind of like locked in place. It does that a little bit after it's been sitting there. You got the separate belt here with the pouches, which is really nice. The loincloth is made of a softer, pliable material. It does hinder the legs from going outwards too far, but you can move forwards and backwards. You can swivel at the thigh. Nice tight double joints at the knee, which is nice. We also have the boot cut. We've got the ankle bend, as well as a rock side to side. So he does have some decent articulation. Most of it is nice and tight. The only part I really have that issue, of course, is right there in the torso. And as far as his accessory goes, he does include this large sword. I love this thing. It's got like the jagged razor edges here on the other side. They are flattened out, of course, because, toy safety and all that. But he can hold on to that pretty nicely in his hands, so that way you can get some good poses with his very cool oversized sword. So next up, we're going to take a look at Marvel's Black Knight. This is a very cool looking action figure. So great look all the way down. You can see he's got the very cool kind of chainmail going on with the arms and the legs there, which all have a bit of like a metallic paint deco, so they're slightly shinier than the rest of the outfit there. The rest of it is more flat base. The lines are a little crooked on there. That happens a lot. You can see there's a little bit of an overlap right there, so they're not perfectly straight. He does have that nice insignia there on his chest. He is rocking a blue cape, which is just held on with a small little peg right there, plugs into his back. It does pop off pretty easily just by moving him around. It fits fine, but just be wary that it is going to fall off sometimes when you're posing him around and stuff. Otherwise, it is made of kind of that softer, more pliable material, as you would expect. There is some really nice shading in there as well. One of the really cool things about this guy is the fact that he has 3 different heads so that you can have 3 different helmeted looks, which is so incredibly cool. So you can see right now we've got him posed with the helmet with the wings on the sides. It's very easy to just pop that right off the ball joint. You can see I actually pulled that off fairly easy. You can pop the new one on in its place. This full helmeted head is very, very cool with the little eagle on top. That eagle is made of a softer plastic, but it's still very, very nice looking. And then we can pop that one off, and if you want to, you can instead put on head. It's very similar to that first one, but without the wings on the sides. And he's also got a very angry looking face there. He's got that teeth gritting pose. I do love the way that the helmet is sculpted over the face. It's not removable, but the fact that, you know, there's some nice dimension there between the eyes looks fantastic on this guy. His articulation is very nice, exactly what you expect. There you go, there's that cape falling off, exactly like I told you happens when you move him around. The joints are super tight at the shoulders. You can see they actually don't hinge up very high. That's probably due to the sculpt of the chainmail, but they do move forwards and backwards really nicely. They got that ratchet in there that's real tight. You got the swivel, you got the double elbow, swivel at the wrist, hinge joint there. You do have the nice torso, you got the waist twist. You know, the legs can go outwards slightly. Again, it is hindered by the sculpt of the legs, but otherwise you can swivel there. You got the double joints at the knees, you got the boot cut, and the ankles can move up, down, as well as rock side to side. And his sword, you might have saw I had it holstered on his belt, which is very, very nice. It actually makes me very happy that you can holster the sword there, and he can hold that in his hand. His right hand, it's a bit loose. You can see he's kind of almost got like a trigger finger there for some reason. So he doesn't hold on to it super good there. He gets a better grip on the left hand, so that is definitely worth noting there. We can get that cape plug back on, and he's actually a pretty cool looking character. I love the interchangeable heads. That definitely makes this guy. Alright, we are now getting into the MCU stuff. We've got Thor as he appeared in Infinity War, and oh my goodness, I love this figure. First of all, let me talk about this. He is very tall, and Thor, you know, he's always much taller than the others. They always make his figure a lot taller. He is right there at 7 inches tall. You know, most Marvel Legends figures are at 6 inches, so you can see he's like a full head taller than a lot of the other figures in the line. And man, we have got to talk about the head. The thing that Hasbro's been doing lately with the real scan has been incredible. So there's an amazing Chris Hemsworth likeness going on here. You know, you got the scar across the right eye now, of course, from Ragnarok. Might be a little bit of a spoiler alert, but I assume you guys all know that by now. But you can see the colors and everything working here. I'm really, really impressed with it. He's a great looking figure. So his cape is not removable, unlike Black Knight. You can see it is permanently attached. There's some sloppy paint a little bit up here. I wish that was a little cleaner. You can see it, but otherwise, he is a really solid looking figure. So the articulation is still really nice. Ball jointed head, got the hinge joint at the neck. Looks a little funny at some angles, but it does give you a good range of motion there. The arms do come out to the side. They move forwards and backwards. You got swivels. You got double joints at the elbow, swivel at the wrist, hinge joint. The torso is ball jointed, so look at that. You can roll that all the way around, which is really nice. There's no waist turn, but that's also how you can turn his body side to side. Got the hinge joints at the thighs, you got the swivels, you got the double joints at the knees. Nothing. It doesn't look like it's a boot cut. Nope, no boot cut there, but we do have the ankle that can move up and down as well as rock side to side. And his accessories, of course, we've got Stormbreaker, complete with that nice twisted wooden handle that if you saw the movie, you know exactly what's going on there. So he can position that best in his right hand because it's a really thick handle and his hand's more open there. It's a little heavy in his hand, so sometimes his arm will kind of fall downwards. It's not doing it too bad right now, which is really, really good. But then we've also got this great bolt of lightning accessory, and that kind of just like wraps around the Stormbreaker accessory there, and you can get some pretty cool poses of it, making it look like it's shooting lightning or lightning is striking it. But all in all, very sweet looking Thor. Oh my goodness, this Black Widow figure. Oh, she is amazing. So again, let's get in here real close because the real scan is fantastic. Look at that Scarlett Johansson likeness there. Of course, she's rocking the blonde hair as she did in Infinity War. I'm definitely going to have to get a Black Widow figure with the red hair with that real scan because, man, that ScarJo likeness is incredible. But the rest of the figure looks really nice all the way through and through. I mean, there's some great details on the costume. She comes with the large, like, oversized, like, nightstick type weapons that she was using, and you do have the ability to plug those together to make the longer stick. It is a bit warped. You'll have to kind of straighten that out because you know it's made of that kind of thinner plastic. It's a bit flexible, but that's pretty cool. And then she does also have these that holsters at her side there. So that's pretty cool. She's also got interchangeable hands, which is really great. So those were her gripping hands. But we can also come in and we can pop in these closed fist hands. And this is really cool because now you can pose her, you know, punching or, you know, in her poses where she's utilizing her cool little blasts from her wrists right there. Articulation is really nice on this as well. It's exactly the same as what we've seen with all the other figures so far. She feels nice and solid. She does have just the single elbow joint there, but it's ball jointed, so it swivels around at the elbow as well instead of at the bicep. That works great with her sculpt, of course. You can roll her around at the torso. Got that nice ball joint. You can see the belt is a separate piece. It does not hinder the movement of the legs at all, so good swivels there. Double joints at the knees with that click. And you know, you got nice joints at the ankles there as well. So she is awesome. I love this Black Widow figure. Oh man, this Ant-Man. I gotta be honest, I've been excited about this particular Ant-Man figure since we saw it back at Toy Fair. Specifically because of that Paul Rudd sculpt. I love the face scan they did on this one because he's just got that really cocky smirk, and it's perfect. I mean, look at this thing. That is just an amazing, amazing sculpt. Sometimes when you look at it from the side, you can see it, I don't know, his face almost looks a little too long. But man, when you look at it like right here at this angle or dead on, oh my gosh, that is just an amazing head sculpt. So you can see I've got him kind of posed there where he's holding onto his helmet. The cool thing about that is the helmet, of course, is an interchangeable head. So if you don't want to look at Paul Rudd's awesome face scan right there, you can pop on the actual Ant-Man helmet, and unlike the first Ant-Man we got back for the first movie, this helmet is movie accurate, and it looks amazing. They did use that kind of swirly, marbly silver that Hasbro tends to do sometimes, so he's got some swirls in there. I've always kind of liked that, but I know that that's a little weird looking sometimes, and some people don't like it. The silver on the rest of him is just painted, and it's a very shiny silver. You can see on the wrist bracers there and everything. And he's got some great textures on the costume. Good motion at the head. That ball joint kind of pops off a little easy. It's not too bad. But we do have the hinge joint there at the neck as well. You got the ball joints at the shoulders, so the arms can go up, forwards, back, swivel at the bicep, double joint at the elbow, real tight articulation. You got the hinge joints at the wrist there as well. Now he's just got the regular ab crunch, up and down, swivel at the waist. The belt's a separate piece, which actually hides that articulation really nicely. You know, you can go outwards of the legs, forwards, backwards, swivel at the thigh there. You've got great double joints at the knees that are covered by this sort of pad that's worked into the outfit. I love that. And then you got the nice ankle joints there as well that rock side to side. Solid, super solid Ant-Man figure. Probably my favorite one so far. I know we got the 10th anniversary one out there as well, but I love this head sculpt. And of course, we're adding Wasp to the lineup as well, which is great. Her first time as an action figure. She looks fantastic. The sculpt is great. The textures on the outfit, I love the kind of metallic yellows that are used in her uniform there. They look great. And once again, fantastic real scan faces. The real scan faces have been a game changer for the MCU figures, I gotta say. They've really bumped it up a notch and just make these guys so much better. They just look fantastic, and she looks wonderful. So she's got a lot going on with her too. Let me run down the articulation real quick. It's just the same as what you'd expect from the others. It looks really good there. Much like Black Widow, she doesn't have the bicep, but instead, single joint at the elbow that you can swivel at the elbow there. You can swivel the wrist. You got the hinges at the wrist. You got the ball joint at the torso. Same hinge joints at the thighs. So all this articulation functions the same. She's got the same kind of pads on the knees like Scott, which is really cool. So there's a lot going on with interchangeability with her, which is really cool. So she's got this little pack on her back, which is where her wings would come out of. This is plugged in by a little peg, so if you want to, you can actually plug in the wings, because what good is a Wasp figure without wings? And these are all individually articulated, so you can move them down, move them outwards, which is very cool. And then we can swap her head out for the Wasp helmeted head. Now, unlike with Ant-Man, we can't really pose her holding her helmet because there's always the eyes in there. But again, let's come in and look real close at the sculpt on this, because I love that there's just like a clear visor and an actual sculpted eyes underneath. It's great, adds real depth to it, and just looks fantastic. And she's also got a pair of interchangeable hands, which are the open hands for flight. These are really cool. I just wish that there was like a flight stand of some sort, but if you can get her in a flying pose there, and you could pair her up with Ant-Man, this is one sweet looking figure, and they look great as a pair. So that brings us to our Build-A-Figure. You collect all those figures, you get all the parts to build Cull Obsidian here, and this is a beast of a figure. He measures like, oh my gosh, he is over 9 inches tall. He's like 9¼ inches. I mean, look at little tiny Wasp in here next to him. She looks shrunk down. That's how big he is. He's got some amazing detailing, a fantastic sculpt here. So if you're unfamiliar, this is a character that, you know, one of Thanos' children in the movie. But the difference with this particular figure is for some reason they did not go with the MCU look. Now, the MCU look is similar, but he's wearing kind of more of a full body outfit and armor. They definitely went with the comic look. And in the comics, he's also known as Black Dwarf. So even has a bit of a different name. So it's interesting that they went with the Cull Obsidian name from the MCU, but gave him the more comic look. I'm not sure why that is. But regardless, still a great looking figure. You can see their articulation, pretty good on this guy. I do tend to find Build-A-Figures a little loose sometimes. You can see his arms are a little floppy, a little floppier than I would like them to be. But all in all, still a really great figure. He's got this huge, weird axe thing. Almost looks like a T. Thanos T? So he can hold on to that with his left hand because that's the one that's open for it. You can kind of rock him around at the torso there. You can spread the legs outwards, swivel the thighs. You got those great double joints at the knees. And the ankles actually do a good job of holding him up. He's got these really unique feet here, you can see. They're almost like hoof-like with the claws, but just a very, very cool looking figure. And he's definitely a sweet Build-A-Figure, especially if you really like those big, giant figures. He is definitely worthy of being a Build-A-Figure in the Marvel Legends line. So there you guys go. That's going to round out my look at the entire wave of Avengers Infinity War 2 Marvel Legends figures. I have to give a very special thanks to Hasbro because they were kind enough to send these along specifically so I can open them up for this video. These are on store shelves right now, so happy hunting, my friends. And hey guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, leave me a comment. Let me know if you want to see more like full wave reviews like this. And don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, my friends.